In 1918, BC Brett & Co was founded, which would eventually become Brett's as we know it. Originally, Brett's traded logs sourced from the Brisbane and Mary Valleys to sawmills along the east coast of Australia. A large girth of hoop pine were regularly sent to Sydney and further afield. One of Brett's biggest customers was Brisbane Sawmills, the largest sawmill in town, occupying 60 acres of what now is Downie Park and the current Brett's Hardware store in Windsor. In 1920, Brisbane Sawmills got into some financial strife and, unable to pay their account, agreed to sell the business, meaning that Brett's has been operating at 142 Newmarket Road since 1912. The 20s and 30s saw the company open and acquire a network of sawmills, cutting a wide variety of species that would help build Brisbane houses throughout the 20th century. Sawmills were operated throughout Blackbutt, Killarney, Yarraman, Fairyland, Dalby, Kogan, Mulmerran, Manumbar, Inglewood, and of course Brisbane, which was still operational until the late 70s. In 1929, Brett's Wharf was built to expand the distribution process, and very soon after, Brett's became one of the nation's largest importers of Oregon pine from North America. In fact, the wharf supplied the large end section structural Oregon pine for the construction of Brisbane City Hall. The wharf remained a commercial enterprise right up into the late 1990s, when it was demolished and redeveloped into the Brett's Wharves apartment complex. The 1930s saw the introduction of building materials, structural steel and hardware into the Brett's range, with extensive warehousing set up in South Brisbane across much of what now is Southbank. Over a decade later, Brett's contributed to the war efforts by relinquishing both the wharves and the Windsor sawmill to aid the US Army. The wharf became an integral part of the conflict in the Pacific, supplying vital materials including parachutes and supply crates that were manufactured at our Windsor site. In addition to those supplies, JF allowed the use of 47 acres of unused paddocks behind the mill to be used as a tent city for the US troops and all of their equipment. These paddocks stretched from the sawmill right down to Enoggera Creek near the Royal Brisbane Hospital. Bill Nutting Sr. was known to give an account of how after the war ended in 1945, the Americans opted to head home and leave everything behind. He watched the army use bulldozers to dig enormous pits in what now is Downie Park, before driving a fleet of jeeps, tanks and all manner of equipment that they didn't want to take back to the States. The Australian Army retained possession of the land until the state government resumed all 47 acres, in a deal that ensured the land could only be used for women's sport and recreation in perpetuity. The 50s and 60s were growth decades for Brett's and Australia, expanding into structural steel distribution, manufacturing sheet metal rainwater goods, importing ceramic tiles, kitchen manufacture and installation, office furniture and plywood production, as well as vertical integration into manufacturing timber joinery in addition to wholesaling the Brett's timber ranges nationally. During this growth phase, Brett's was integral in helping some other iconic Australian businesses become established. Norm Tilling will tell you Brett's opened the Tilling account to purchase Oregon flitch for resawing and sale in the Melbourne market, which was the precursor to the Tilling Empire today. Similarly, Brett sold door skins and timber door components to Corinthian Doors, and was still wholesaling hoop pine mouldings to Corinthian up until the wholesale business was sold in 2009. Former regular customer Nanda Spaghetti used to buy 25mm pine dowel from Brett's, which they used to dry the spaghetti. That's the reason why the spaghetti used to have its recognisable U-shape. The business progressed over the following decades, further growing the wholesale network in Sydney, ramping up plywood manufacture and entering the aluminium joinery market. Expanding the retail hardware empire to a network of stores located at Windsor, Coorparoo, Brookside, Capalaba, Indooroopilly, Ipswich, Loganholme, McGregor and South Brisbane. The Brett's hardware network was serviced by a 20,000 square metre warehouse on Montague Road in West End. The company acquired a hardware store in Caboolture, 2 specialty machinery sales businesses in Townsville and Cairns, and a timber mouldings processing plant in Underwood. Brett's branched into sales of high-end bathroom fittings, kitchen appliances and homewares, although these ventures proved unsustainable. This caused a series of business sales and closures that saw the group in 2003 reduced to just one hardware store at Windsor, a sawmill at Inglewood, and a wholesale timber and plywood business. In recent years, Bretts have significantly remodelled the business into a single-purpose strategy of quality building material supply to quality builders. No more distractions with retail customers on Hamilton Hill or resellers in Cairns. Bretts are entirely focused on supplying the most complete range of best quality building materials to Southeast Queensland's best builders and plumbers.